Carson Mull was 14 when he shot himself in the head at home in the middle of the night. His mom found him and called 911.
We didn't know if I was ever going to talk again. We didn't know if I was ever going to be able to open my eyes.
Over the past 4 years, Carson has gone through dozens of reconstructive surgeries at Children's Wisconsin, with more on the way. But he's thriving, playing football at Seymour High School just west of Green Bay. He will play at UW Oshkosh next year while continuing his work as a voice for young people struggling.
If we normalize talking about mental health, then there won't be such a negative stigma around it because everybody's talking about it.
Carson has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media and speaks at schools. He's open about anxiety and depression, as well as the pressures of perfectionism.
I wanted to be the perfect, the perfect son, the perfect friend, the perfect brother. And these were kind of self-imposed expectations. These weren't anything that anyone had really put on me. When I couldn't live up to that because no one can, I felt like I wasn't worthy, I wasn't valuable, and that I was a disappointment.
Carson's parents have joined him in trying to educate others. Hurting them, he says, has been the hardest part of all of this.
The pain that I kind of put my family through.
But their bond has only grown stronger. To help more families prevent suicide attempts, Children's Wisconsin is raising $150 million to broaden its mental health services over the next 5 years. That includes hiring more people, boosting training programs, outreach in schools, early intervention programs, and screening at all doctor's appointments.
We need to talk about emotional and behavioral health in the same way we talk about stomach aches, fevers, and any other physical illness. The human brain is not fully mature until somewhere in the mid-20s, and especially the area in the front of our head, the frontal lobes, where we really do all of our planning, where we inhibit behavior, where we think about the consequences. Those sections are not mature yet. And so kids are vulnerable.
According to the CDC, as of 2019, suicide is the second leading cause of death in the 14 to 19-year-old age group. And nearly 19% of high school students think seriously about killing themselves, while about 9% attempt it. The pandemic anticipated to make these numbers worse, but that data hasn't come in yet. We do know in the past year, the proportion of emergency room visits for mental health issues increased by about 25 to 30%, depending on the age, for those 5 to 17 years old. That's according to the CDC. Children's Wisconsin is expanding its psychiatric response team in emergency rooms.
That critical next step so that they're not leaving the emergency room with a, hey, you need a therapist, but no direction.
To this day, Carson still sees the same Children's Wisconsin therapist he first met with after attempting suicide. A relationship, he says, helped him get to this point.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel because I've been there. I know what the feelings of the darkness, the hopelessness, the feelings that the only way you're going to make them go away is by trying to take your own life. And I've been there and I've gotten out of that. And those feelings get back to a place where you're happy and you're healthy.
We thank Carson for sharing his story. In Wisconsin, 1 in 4 of our kids have thoughts of anxiety and depression. That's according to Children's Wisconsin. If you notice your child struggling, Dr. Fisher recommends first reaching out to their pediatrician, who can refer you to the best next step. You can also always call the Mental and Behavioral Health Access Center at Children's. That number is 414-266-3339.
And you can also call 211 and get connected to local resources for help at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline phone number, 1-800-273-8255. Every call is free.